The lights inside the studio burned bright, but the air felt unusually heavy. It was another long audition day on The Voice, and the judges leaned back in their chairs, half expecting another decent singer, another polite round of applause, another quick goodbye. What they did not know was that the next voice would come from a small Filipino community thousands of miles away, carrying years of sacrifice, heartbreak, and unstoppable hope. The contestant stood quietly at the edge of the stage, breathing slowly, hands trembling just enough to reveal the pressure of the moment. This was not just an audition. This was a lifetime standing in front of 4 chairs. He grew up in a crowded neighborhood where music was not a dream but a refuge. In the Philippines, his family shared a single room, and at night, when the city noise softened, his mother would sing old ballads while folding laundry. That voice became his first teacher. He learned to sing not from lessons, but from listening, from feeling, from surviving. Years later, when he moved to the United States chasing opportunity, the reality was brutal. Long shifts, low pay, and rejection after rejection. Singing became something he did alone, in cars, in empty apartments, wondering if his voice would ever be heard. Now he stood under the spotlight, facing a panel of judges who had built careers discovering stars. The music began softly, just a piano, familiar to American ears. It was a classic song, one everyone thought they knew. But the moment he sang the first line, something changed. His tone was warm, controlled, yet filled with emotion that felt almost painful. It was not imitation. It was transformation. His Filipino soul reshaped the song, giving it depth the judges did not expect. One judge frowned, leaning forward. Another glanced sideways, curiosity turning into surprise. The audience, usually restless, sat perfectly still. His voice climbed higher, not with force but with vulnerability. Each note carried memories of missed birthdays, calls home across oceans, and the fear of failure that comes with leaving everything behind. Then, without warning, the first chair turned. The crowd erupted, but he did not smile. He stayed focused, as if afraid the moment would vanish if he acknowledged it too soon. As the song reached its chorus, he added a subtle Filipino-style run, smooth and emotional, something rarely heard on an American stage. The second chair turned. The judges now sat upright, disbelief written across their faces. One whispered, "Where did this voice come from?" By the time the final note faded, all 4 chairs had turned. The studio exploded. Cheers echoed off the walls. Some judges stood. One pressed a hand to their chest, visibly moved. But this was just the beginning. As he spoke about his journey, the mood shifted. He told them about sending money home instead of buying food. About working night shifts and practicing in stairwells so he would not disturb neighbors. About being told his accent would limit him, that American audiences would not understand him. The judges listened, silent. One admitted they had almost judged him before he sang. Another apologized openly, saying this is why the show exists. Then came the twist no one expected. During the battle rounds, he was paired against another powerhouse singer, someone with experience, confidence, and a massive following. The mentors clearly favored the other contestant. Rehearsals were tense. Cameras caught moments where he was overlooked, interrupted, quietly pushed to the side. Online comments questioned whether he deserved to be there. For the first time since his audition, doubt returned. On performance night, he chose a risky song. Not a safe hit, but an emotional cover deeply connected to Filipino culture, translated into English, blending 2 worlds. The arrangement was stripped down. No distractions, just voice. As he sang, something extraordinary happened. The other contestant sang perfectly, but without soul. He sang imperfectly, but with truth. The audience felt it. Judges wiped tears. When the decision came, the result shocked everyone. He won. Clips of the performance went viral overnight. Filipino communities across the world shared it with pride. American viewers commented that they had never heard emotion like that before. Music critics praised his authenticity. Suddenly, he was no longer just a contestant. He was a symbol of what music could do when it crossed borders. In later rounds, the pressure intensified. Expectations grew heavier. One performance went wrong. His voice cracked. Social media turned cruel. Headlines questioned whether he was losing his edge. Behind the scenes, he considered quitting. But then he remembered why he started. Not fame, not approval, but the voice of his mother singing in the dark. For his final audition performance, he returned to simplicity. A classic American song, sung with Filipino warmth. No tricks, no fear, just honesty. When he finished, the silence lasted longer than applause ever could. Judges stood slowly. One said, "You reminded us why we fell in love with music." Another said, "The world needs voices like yours." Win or lose, his life changed that night. Record labels called. Opportunities opened. But more importantly, millions of viewers felt seen. Immigrants, Dreamers. Anyone who had been told they did not belong. This is why Filipino covers on The Voice continue to shock judges worldwide. Not because of technique alone, but because of heart. Because every note carries a story bigger than the stage. Because when these voices sing, they bring an entire culture with them. And somewhere, back home, a mother listened, smiling through tears, knowing her voice had traveled farther than she ever imagined.